Hello, I'm Dan Bassel. I'm president of Cabrini Connections and the Tutor Mentor Connection based in Chicago. We're a small nonprofit that for the last 20 years almost, we've been connecting youth living in inner city Chicago with volunteers from different types of backgrounds in what we call a collective effort, a tutor mentor program, where many people are working to help young people grow up and lead lives out of poverty. You can see our website at www.cabriniconnections.net. In this and a series of other videos, we want to help you understand what we think a tutor mentor program is, and we want to help you think of ways where you and your business and your church and your university can be involved in collective actions that help volunteer-based tutor mentor programs be more likely to exist for many years in places throughout a big urban area like Chicago. So this is the Tutor Mentor Connection logic model. If you agree with it, help us make it a reality. I'm going to run over here. The first step is all youth benefit when connected with an adult network of support. That sounds pretty obvious. Youth living in high poverty neighborhoods have fewer people in their network who can help them succeed in school and move to jobs. Therefore, connecting these youth with tutors, mentors, and learning opportunities would be good. Making them available during the school day or available during the non-school hours is part of creating access. Well, Cabrini Connections is a place in Chicago where more than 60 teens and 80 volunteers connect each week. If you agree that programs like Cabrini Connections are good places to connect inner city kids and youth with adults, then a strategy that helps such programs be available to youth in all high poverty neighborhoods would be important to any city. The Tutor Mentor Connection is that type of strategy. If you agree with the logic, help us make it a reality. This is one of many graphics you'll see on our websites. We put it here to emphasize the long-term nature of what we're doing and the need for continuous support from many different sectors. For instance, at Cabrini Connections, we start kids over here in 7th grade. Well, they go from 7th to 8th, then to 9th, then to 10th, 11th. It takes 6 years just to get from 7th grade to 12th grade. Very few funders have funding guidelines that provide flexible, ongoing operating dollars to one or many tutor mentor programs that would help them sustain their activities for that many years. In a neighborhood, there needs to be programs reaching kids at elementary school and then passing them on to programs working with kids in middle school, and even passing them on to programs working with kids at high school or helping them into jobs. This continuum of services in a neighborhood is more likely over a period of years to help more kids move from where they live in poverty to jobs and careers than the different types of inconsistent funding strategies that we currently see in most places. This chart shows steps that up at the top here, we have many people that say we want more kids to stay in school, safe in non-school hours, graduate, move to jobs and careers, but we're not funding the work down at the bottom here of building the database of all the different organizations that need to be connected to each other, doing the advertising on a regular basis for volunteer mobilization or bringing dollars to programs, building the networking and learning and trust needed to get people involved in hundreds of different programs to talk to each other and begin to share ideas. And from this, you're able to begin to build a better understanding of the needs and opportunities of different programs throughout the Chicago region, and therefore develop more consistent actions that increase the flow of resources to each program. It's only when steps 1 through 5 are happening in a city that you can begin to have better programs in more places for more kids, and then keeping those better programs there and getting better for many more years is what leads to more youth staying in school and graduating and moving to jobs and careers. The Tutor Mentor Connection sees itself as a network builder. Not only are we connecting youth and volunteers and ideas at Cabrini Connections, on a larger scale, we're connecting those who can help, businesses, foundations, volunteers, politicians, media, with those who need help, the different tutoring and mentoring programs in different parts of Chicago and in other cities. This intermediary role is provided free to those who need help. We look for funding and support from those who can help to enable us to provide this service for not just the past 18 years, but for the next 20 or 30 years. Part of the resources that Tutor Mentor Connection has developed is a series of maps. These maps show where the high poverty areas are in Chicago. They show locations of known tutoring and mentoring programs. You can see each of these green stars represents a program. This is Cabrini Green right here. This is where our own program operates. We're this green star. These highway maps show that people living out in the more affluent suburbs around the city, as they come back and forth from home to work every day, they're driving through poverty neighborhoods from their downtown offices or from their churches and family networks out in the suburbs. They could be forming groups of people, learning from the information we share on the website, and working to support the growth of the different tutor mentor programs along the access routes that they travel every day. In some cases, there may look like there's plenty of programs. In other cases, there's very few programs. All of them need the same thing. They need trained leaders, they need volunteers, they need public visibility, they need operating dollars, they need technology, they need training and learning. And since they're not equally able to get those resources, the Tutor Mentor Connection seeks to help intermediary groups grow who work to provide those resources throughout the city, not just to one or two neighborhoods. Our strategy to do this is to enlist volunteers and leaders from every industry to mentor kids to careers, and that means that in each sector, our hope is that groups of employee volunteers will begin to form learning circles, just like if the boss gives you an assignment, it says, I'll give you $1 million salary and a $50 million budget, and you increase market share of our industry. After you get off the floor from being overwhelmed with the assignment, the first thing you would do is begin to build an information base that you could learn from in order to formulate a strategy to make that happen. The information base that you can learn from is available on the Tutor Mentor Connection websites. If volunteers and leaders in each of these different sectors begin to learn from that information and formulate actions that support tutor mentor programs based on what they're learning, those actions over many years would result in more programs like Cabrini Connections being available in many different parts of the Chicago region, not just in a few places. Well, the information I've been covering is hosted on our websites. I encourage you to go there, look at this video, share it with other people, and we hope that we can help you as you go on this path of learning and share in the joy with us as you see kids like what we're looking at here that have, with our help, grown up and become college graduates and raising their own families. Thank you.